Hi folks, Luke Slices here. This is a knife I got from Congy's Knife Sales. It's Mark Congerton, who is on Facebook. You can see his Facebook details here. If you search for Congy's Knife Sales on Facebook, you'll find him fairly easily. He's a British knife trader. I think semi-professional rather than as his full-time job. But he sent this little card with the knife, and it says on the back, Tim Britton Stag Teardrop, Teardrop engraved bolster with gold inlay. So that was where I started looking, but I did a little bit more research. I'll show you the knife. It came in this little slip, which I suspect wasn't made for it because it doesn't really fit. It's very loose and it's not quite long enough. But it's a little, very small little slip joint penknife, amber stag, as said before. It's very well made. There's no gapping or anything like that. It has an incredibly thin, very, very slicey Warncliffe blade, which is signed just about there. Get it as close as I can. Britton, Britton, Tim Britton. Tim Britton is an American custom knife maker who hails from New Jersey. So I did ask Pete if he knows of him, but he didn't seem to. He makes very, very classy little knives, and since I got this, I've been using it as effectively sort of my desk knife because it's very, very slick and slicey. I mean, that blade is very, very thin to start with, and obviously it's a flat grind, so it gets to very thin behind the edge. It's a very narrow bevel, but incredibly sharp and a very pointy point as well. The other thing that you can't fail but notice with this knife is the engraving on the bolsters, and the engraving is also inlaid with two little balls of gold. I don't know what grade of gold it is, 9 carat or 24 carat, I have no idea, but it is gold, and they are hand engraved. Now, this knife I got in, as a trade from Congy's Knife Sales. Retail, new from Tim Britton. The basic pattern of this, the base price of this knife is $300. But the engraving, which I suspect is done by a guy called Jim Small, but I can't get that absolutely right. But I looked on his website and looked at some of the engraving that has been done by various people, and the stuff by Jim Small seems to be the most similar in style, and particularly the use of the gold inlays. That would add about another $350 to the price, making it $650 and making it, I think, probably my second most expensive knife after one of my Rocksteads, and it's more expensive than the other one. More expensive than my Medfords, my Chris Reeves, everything. This is a stupid expensive knife. This is in William Henry sort of territory, especially when you consider just how small this little knife is. I'll give you a wee size comparison. If I can open it, and I'll try doing this on camera. I've started to get better at this, and I seem to be able to do it. Although I did cut my thumb again. This is Victorinox Pioneer, and it absolutely dwarfs this little thing in every single way. Blade length's about the same, 2 3/4 inches, but other than that, nothing. But this is such a small sort of waistcoat pocket knife. you wouldn't be afraid to take this anywhere and think you'd be outclassed by anybody. It's also, as well as being beautiful, sorry, it's engraved on both sides. I never said that, but the engraving is different on both sides. The style's the same, but it's different in detail, and the gold balls are in different places. But as well as being beautiful, it's also very practical. It is in a steel called BG42. Now, I'd never heard of BG42, so I had to look it up. And I find that it has a lot of vanadium. It creates vanadium carbides? No, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, it creates very hard particles in the edge. It is reputed to be one of those blades that you never need to sharpen. Now, even with the Rocksteads, eventually you need to sharpen them. And I don't know what Rockwell this is running at, whether it's running at anything like the 67 Rockwell of the ZDP 189 Rocksteads. I don't know. I don't know where of finding out, really. It doesn't tell you on his website, but just the research I've done, reading I've done around BG42 suggests it's a very, very hard steel, very, very hard to sharpen. But, you know, nowadays we've got diamond hones to sharpen knives, so nothing is really that hard to sharpen. Although I haven't tried sharpening this yet, so, you know, maybe I'll find I'm wrong. But, you know, most of the pretty hard super steels will yield to diamond hones in pretty quick order. So anyway, there's not really an awful lot to say about this knife, except that it is quite honestly one of the most beautiful knives I own. It's just, I mean, that engraving is just beautiful. You could almost say it's a lady's knife. But you know, I subscribe to the William Morris philosophy. He said, have nothing in your house that you do not believe to be beautiful or know to be useful. And that's the other way around, actually, he said it, but this is both. This is extremely beautiful, but also, without talon of a blade, extremely useful. I mean, granted, you're not going to pry open any car doors with it. I suspect that blade would break quite easily, but slicing through envelopes, cutting cords, anything at all, like opening packages, it's just a perfect little knife for that sort of thing. And it does it with great aplomb. As I say, it's so thin behind the edge. It just disappears when I try and bring it up to the camera. I really want it to focus on my horrible hands, but nonetheless, if we're going to get it to work, maybe I have to do that. But just a very, very thin blade. In fact, yeah, the blade stock at the thinnest part is just, well, 1.6. Yeah, about 1.6 millimeters. And when you get down to the fine edge, it's very hard to get it straight. Minuscule. Nothing. 0.2, something like that. Difficult for me to work these, but yeah, I'd say that's probably 2 millimeters stock, maybe slightly less. Slightly difficult to get it accurate. Oops. But nonetheless, whatever it is, it's very, very thin and very, very slicey. And from looking at the blade, you can see I've been using it because it's got little bits of sticky on it, which I should have cleaned off before I made the video, but I didn't. Anyway, so thank you, Mark, very much for passing this on to me. I think it was worth everything that I traded for it. And I think the trade value was about half of its retail price, so it was a very attractive purchase. So anyway, I'm happy with this. If you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these things, I haven't got any more of these, I'm afraid. Please subscribe and remember to ring the bell if you want notifications. And I think that's about it. This little baby can go to bed. Thank you very much. Bye.